Hello, the channel. Welcome, Bullstar Chris, to the channel. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
No
Um,
problem.
lo- Watched a lot of your content before. I think we probably watch each other's content or listen to each other's content, but we've never done anything together before, have we? So
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah. Well, obviously, I really like listening to you guys on the podcast. It's yourself, SR Monkey, and it's Haber. And what's the podcast called again? Jeez, I always keep
so rare ramble.
Sorry, I ramble. Yeah, because
Yeah.
the reason I always forget the name of it is because it's all been posted on Monkey's own Twitter feed and everything now as well. So like actually he just kind of shares the link to the ramble on there and stuff as well. So I always forget the name of the actual podcast. But yeah, it's good. And I really enjoyed the one obviously did recently with So Rare as well. But anyway, the reason we've got you on tonight is because, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to actually pronounce it right because we've got a couple of dodgy pronunciations, but they've had a big event in the community, obviously Playsharper going, and you are launching Predictorfy, not Predictorfy or Predictor Fry Up. It's Predictorfy. Is that right? Yeah.
I told you not to say that one.
Well, we said it now, so it's okay.
Yeah, Predictorfy. So yeah, if you haven't seen, I've been bombarding Twitter the last sort of 4 or 5 days. Launched in a blaze of glory, following up Nicholas's tweet, one of his infamous off the handle tweets he sent
That's
out
right.
last Thursday evening. We were about ready to go, but I thought it was a good opportunity to announce our website as well. So yeah, as Mark said, it's going to be a prediction site, a lineup prediction site, primarily for So Rare, but just for fantasy football in general. It's going to cover all of the So Rare regions. And yeah, I mean, look, in a lot of ways, people have sort of said, is it Playsharper 2.0? It kind of is in a little way. We're wanting to fill that gap and fill that void that they've left, but also sort of learn from their failings, their mistakes, and some of the things that maybe they didn't do so well, and
Yeah.
add some more things to the mix that haven't been done before, and yeah, just provide a sort of best in class lineup predictions service for the whole So Rare community.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose the problem with Playsharper was really the business model. I mean, we were discussing this before we hit record, and I made a complete mess of all the pronunciations. But at the end of the day, like at the point where Playsharper said that we've got a bit of an issue here, and there's the ongoing discussions. Like my point was if Playsharper said, look, it's going to be behind a paywall now. There's going to be a small amount. Everybody's going to have to pay. You'll still get access to all the predictions, etc. And then I'm sure people would have probably paid it. I mean, I remember, I signed you up for So Rare, so that's when you sort of things I signed you up like 4 years ago, and we've obviously went away back to then. But you know, So Rare Data, for example, was completely free at the start, and it was obvious at some point it probably would be a subscription model, but we sort of learned the site and we couldn't really have done without the information you were getting via that, and it's come on leaps and bounds and everything now, and some of the stuff they do was really good and wasn't available at the start, but it started out sort of free of charge. So I mean, I know just sort of changing the topic from the business model, but I'm really missing like actually being able to access the lineups myself when I'm doing my teams because I'm a mad mentalist with 20, 30, 40 teams per game week, but having that easy access of can I do a quick check here to make sure I'm not fucking things up. Like, for want of a better word, like I'm not making any obvious huge mistakes with guys being obviously out or suspended or whatever is really, really important if you're entering any number of lineups. So yeah, kind of missing it. And obviously I did all the Celtic stuff for Playsharper as well. So the other thing I just want to say to people on the channel as well is that with me doing this, you've been very good, Chris, and that's one of the things obviously that really I wanted to announce is that I'll still be able to have the lineups and everything and have them on the channel. So nobody's asking here for it to be completely behind a paywall and people not having access to it, and everybody's got to pay, and it will still be on the YouTube videos, etc., and we can have a chat about it. So that was one thing I really wanted to get in case people are thinking, oh, right, so if I don't pay for it, I'm not going to get any information at all. We want to make sure the information's as open and wide and everything for everybody to access if they really need to. But you'll need to listen to me on my YouTube channel. That's the downside. So there we go.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's it's a big thing as well. Is that we're not asking for any exclusivity from any anyone who's a predictor on our site. So anyone who's doing the lineups for us, like yourself, other people who have YouTube content or post lineup predictions through other sources, we aren't demanding that. We're not going to people and saying you have to be exclusive to us. There might be some perks along the way where there might be some exclusivity sort of perks if people want to go down that road, but it's absolutely not a prerequisite that we're saying it has to be done. And I don't think it's fair to put that pressure on people either, really. I think, you're not an employee for us. You're freelance effectively, and you can kind of do as you please with that. But yeah, it's sort of touching on what you're saying about, ease of use and whatnot. I mean, the whole idea really is that we're going to be an aggregator, a lineup aggregator. So it's a time saver for people. I think the beauty of So Rare and the way that the game's constructed now is that, most people do have a lot of lineups each week. I mean, you're extreme, you have a hell of a lot, but most people have 10, 15, 20, on even a small level. I certainly do. And it's time consuming to, even if once you get sort of 10 teams and above, if you're playing different regions and different players from different countries and teams, it is hard to keep on top of. And yes, you can do a bit of research yourself, but there's only so many minutes in the day. And
yeah,
if you've got somebody who's tuned into that club and that league, and they're sort of on the ground level, and they know what they're doing, they're making a real effort to get that accuracy up and compete to get those predicted lineups as spot on as they can each week. There's you can trust a lot of people to get a fair way of the way there. Now look, everyone makes mistakes. No one can be perfect. Nobody's a manager of the club itself, and it's impossible for people to get 11 out of 11 starters every week in a team. I know you know that from first-hand experience. But the idea is that it's an aggregator, it's a time saver, and the website is looking. I've shared some screenshots with you earlier, Mark, and it's looking really good. And the developers we've got on board, we've been so lucky to find two great guys. One of them plays So Rare and has done for a while, and did some work I think with Playsharper previously. So we couldn't have fallen any better in terms of the team that we've got together. And I'm really confident that what we're going to be putting out is going to be just a really fantastic solution for the whole community.
Yeah. And we're going to have a wee sneak peek of the you want to
Yeah,
share
why
as
not?
well. Have a quick look, and we'll see how it's going to look, because it is important as well. Obviously the accessibility and everything is important, but being able to actually have a sort of sneak peek of the visuals and things pretty good. So I have seen this, so that's easy for me because I've seen it, and I think actually it's pretty good. So there we go.
So yeah, this is probably the first time that I'm sharing this publicly anywhere. This screen. So I've sent it to Quinny and yourself earlier for some feedback. I knew I was coming on with you tonight, obviously, as well. So I wanted to share it with you. But I've only seen this today myself. So
Too many Ederson. Yeah, that's not going to work. You've got 11 goalkeepers.
We all dream of a team of Ederson Murrays. Not Jamie Carragher's as Liverpool fans say. Yeah, I mean, we're sort of one of the main ideas of the website is we're trying to put this together for everybody. So it's first and foremost for the users, and it's got to be user friendly, kind on the eye, attractive as a website. It's got to work on your phone as well as on desktop,
Yeah.
which it will be. So there's a web app as well as the website that's going to be active straight away. We're trying to make it as easy for the guys doing the predictions for us. So our team of predictors. So we've got a custom lineup template that the guys are going to be using from next week. And then from a content creator point of view, I had some great feedback from Quinny yesterday. I had a chat with him about, what content creators would like to make their life a lot easier from a kind of visual point of view. And again, we've given that feedback to the devs, and they're very receptive, and we're just trying to bring something together that works for everybody. And like I say, visually it looks fantastic to me. I think for this stage, and we're going into an open beta in the next sort of week and a half. It's looking really slick. So this screen effectively is what you'll see when you so you'll click into a region on the left, and then different divisions here. So we're in Challenger here, Jupiler Eredivisie, Portuguese League. You'll then click into that. On the right hand side, it will then populate with the fixtures from that league that you've chosen. And then when you click into that fixture there, that matchup, it'll populate then with a lineup from that team, and then you can toggle between home and away teams here. You'll have your comments section underneath, so you can have that interactivity with your predictor, and then your different percentage to start as well here. But yeah, visually it looks really good. One of the things that Quinny did say was he wanted to have 11 players on the screen. So when one of the shows that I think he'll be using this on the most is his prediction show he does with his deadline stream that he does with Harry on a Friday, and I think they'll be using the this page a lot, basically to show the different lineups of different teams. So
yeah,
looks pretty cool. I like it, and I think you're quite impressed with it, aren't you, as well?
Yeah, for the stage, it's only really early stages, and I know you were sort of rushed into it a wee bit because Nicholas came out with his. Oh, what if we just started incorporating some lineups, whatever, which I don't think was really like any serious intent from Sorare's point of view. It's probably just to gauge like interest in it, etc. levels wise. But I think it looks really good. I think the layout's pretty good. He's already sort of pulling in information. Yeah, it looks pretty slick already. So I'm impressed with it based on the stage that we're getting to, and obviously the actual usability of it will be important too. And if you get the features in that Playsharper had, then I guess obviously there was a good template there. But I like that you'll look to try and improve things as well, because it could be a temptation just to say, well, all right, we'll just sort of copy what Playsharper was doing before, which did work really well. But obviously, if that could be improved on as well, then could make you guys the go-to in terms of what people want to use, etc. And if Quinny or me or whatever, if we're using this stuff or if we're posting it eventually, if it looks nicer, then that does help. People might not think it helps, but I think it does actually, because of the visual side of things. And at the end of the day, when you're picking loads of lineups and you've got all these things going through your head, being able to visualize something, I think does actually really help as well. So yeah, it's looking really good. I'm impressed with it as well.
Yeah, thank you. The other thing as well that isn't showing on here yet, and I was saying this actually before we were recording. So we are going to be API integrated with both SoRare and with some of the sportsbook betting odds websites. So there is already SoRare integration. So the images of the players here that are just a stock image on this demo for the open beta, when we have that live for the Euros, it will be the proper images of the players, and that will be pulling through from SoRare, as will the fixtures for the game week, etc. So we'll have quite a lot ready, in the next week or so, in terms of the API integration from SoRare. By the time we launch in August, it should be that we're ready with full API integration. So the plan will be that we have full match odds, clean sheet odds for each team, and over 3 goals scored odds. There might be some other stuff we can add in as well, but they're the 3 sort of core sort of odds sort of imagery that I'd like to be included. Really, I think they're the most important odds when you're looking to kind of pick players in a lineup. Clean sheet for your goalkeeper and defenders, and
goals.
over 3 goals for attacking players is certainly what I look at as two sort of key metrics when I'm picking players in a lineup each week. So we'll have them in there as well from August.
Yeah, no, I think that's pretty much spot on, to be honest. I think that's most of the stuff. If people obviously are referring back to the videos, even when I use the stuff through sort of probabilities, etc., then I'm looking at clean sheet percentages, win odds for teams, and then just expected team goals, etc., as well. And then, as I said earlier, regarding the exclusivity side of things, I'm quite enjoying the approach to the flexibility and everything as well, because I don't really want to stop using sort of probabilities on the videos, because that's something that people seem to enjoy, being able to do the previews and all that sort of stuff. And I know it's slightly different site, but I think there's room for a lot of this stuff to coexist in terms of the community as well, because one thing that's really struck me, as soon as Playsharper kind of went away, people started trying to develop other things. People started posting for free on Twitter, etc. And there was a real kind of community feel to it, of like, let's not let everybody down here. We don't want a situation where a couple of game weeks and people have just no clue what's happening, and people started posting information. And I think that's, you could look at it from a commercial point of view and just say, yeah, I just want to kill everybody else and everybody pays me £5 a month per head or whatever. But at the end of the day, you want to have an overall community feel there as well. And that's probably, there's some hidden benefits to that as well, if everybody's enjoying the game and can get on, because we all started somewhere, right? You start from a point where you think, well, I'm only putting in 20 quid this month, or I'm only putting 30 quid in this month. I don't want to be paying £5 for that. I don't want to be paying for the K-League patron and all that type of stuff. But then maybe later on you build yourself up and you're doing well and you're enjoying it. You say, well, now actually I've built my gallery up, and it's worth me paying that, because if I've got that information, it's helping me actually win some cash or whatever. So, everybody's got to start somewhere at the end of the day. That's the point, really, isn't it? So
yeah, and I think there's, like you say, it is actually great that there's a lot of creative people in the community, and that a lot of people are willing to put their time into different things. And some of the patrons that have been going for years, So Rare Japan and things like that, they really, and some of the K-League ones. I mean, I know some of the guys who play a lot of K-League, and there's some of them that I know are very good services as well. And I think if you're zoned into one region, potentially some of those services are very good. I think if you're, again, I think sorry probabilities. I've never signed up to it, but I know from speaking to you and other people, again, there's certainly a place for that. And again, it's slightly different to what we do. I don't really see them as a competitor, because I just think it's a different platform completely. The way they're displaying things, the way they kind of, the data that they're showing is quite different, and in different ways to the way we're doing it. So, I think, like you say, there's a place for everything, and people are willing to try things and see what flavour of solution they like and what suits them. And that's a good thing. All we can do is say, look, this is what we're up to. This is the way we kind of think it should be done, and try and create the best version of it for everybody. And that's the aim of the game, really, for us. That's where we are. In terms of the model, like I've sort of touched upon, we're running an open beta or beta. I never know which one it is. I say beta. Tomato.
Predictorfy.
So we're running an open beta, which is launching for the Euros. So we're going to be We think the site will be ready by the end of next week, so about a week or so before the Euros kicks off. And yeah, so at the minute we're in sort of a pre-registration phase. If you go to our Twitter profile, there's a link there where you can register your email address, and then we'll send updates to you as and when they're available. If you go to Predictorfy, PredicTorfy.com, on there again, that's our pre-registration link for you to sign up.
Yeah.
That page will probably change in the next week or so as we move into the open beta stage, and then it'll just be a case of registering your email address for an account with us. We'll be free of charge for the Euros, and I'm hoping we might be able to have Copa America as well, but we'll see. And then the plan is that we'll be ready to go full blast in August. It will be chargeable from August. We might have a small window again of possibly like a week free of charge or something like that initially from the start of August. But yeah, it will be sort of a chargeable platform from then, with various different options from a couple of quid a month upwards, basically. But it's going to be cost effective. It's not going to be a particularly expensive thing, but at the same time, the amount of time that you guys as predictors are having to put into doing the lineups. I mean, especially some of the guys who are doing full leagues and things. It's hours and hours a week, and they do deserve something for their efforts, really. So that's the way it's going to work, and we want it to be a sustainable platform. We don't want to crash and burn and go under and disappear like others have over the last few months, and we think it's a model that'll work, really.
Yeah, I think with the Playsharper thing, I was still a wee bit surprised how it sort of ended up, etc. But then, you don't know all the ins and outs behind that, and I do know that it doesn't take me very long to put up the actual Celtic lineup, but in terms of the thought processes that goes into that, in terms of things like for example, on a Friday I've got a link on my computer, and it's actually a direct link to where the Celtic training gallery is. So I would put up my prediction, and then on a Friday at a certain point I would go into that before, because Celtic would put up like YouTube press conferences and stuff, and often maybe it wouldn't come out until 3 o'clock. So I would sit and look through the training lineup to rule out if there was anyone obvious that wasn't in training. And if you multiply that now, it's not feasible for people to do that, and especially for teams or leagues that they don't know. And I think when you've got that for each individual club and that sort of competitive stuff, because I know you're thinking about doing some things which you don't need really go into much detail on, because there's a giveaway the secrets of the recipe for the site, but ways of it being important for the predictors to be accurate, etc. It's pretty good as well. And you mentioned certain regions and everything earlier, and I think that when you look at maybe like the EPL, etc., you always get predictions on FPL predictions, or you'll get news, or you get leaks and things. But so there's a site where it's not just focused on that, and if you maybe have really good UK knowledge, for example, you watch a lot of games here, but you don't follow the Bundesliga, and then all of a sudden you want to maybe delve into some of those competitions because you're enjoying it, getting that nous from nous goes around your neck, nous from all the people who like follow those leagues or whatever. It's just such valuable information to stop you from making mistakes. And it can be obvious stuff, even if you just get somebody sitting looking through all the suspension news and everything, and just knowing who's in, knowing who's out. All that sort of stuff is a huge time saver. So but the more I talk about it, the more I think that these sorts of services, unless there is some sort of commercial element of it where it drives so much traffic that it can make money, that at the end of the day you're going to have to pay a small amount for it, and you get all that stuff done for you. And I think that that's really, really valuable if you're taking the game seriously anyway. So
yeah, it is. And I mean, I think the other thing as well is, it's amazing to have a group of guys. I mean, our Discord that we've set up already, with sort of 40 or 50 guys in there at the minute. it's literally people from countries all over the world. You know, it's like United Nations convention in there, isn't it? You know, it's
That's mad, isn't it?
yeah. You know, you've got guys from South America, from the USA, from Scandinavia, from the UK, in all parts of Europe and everything, and
yeah,
it is incredible, you know, to kind of pull something like that together, and but equally, I think that local knowledge, like you say, is just so valuable. You know, we don't get the info from, say, the local Turkish newspapers, the local Croatian press, or you know, there's guys in the Discord who, you know, I know somebody whose friend works in the club that he's doing predictions for, so he gets team news and training things from him, and you know, the insight that you get from things like that is just invaluable, and it's incredible that there's people in the community who are, you know, who are kind of available to give that insight and also willing to give the time to give that insight, and it's yeah, you know, I think that the success of it relies on two things. It relies on obviously the quality of the predictions and the accessibility of the, you know, as many teams and regions as you can cover, and then also the how good quality the website is itself and the usability of that for users and the kind of experience that you're getting. And I'm confident from what I'm seeing from the guys that we've brought together and also from the developers that are on board that we're ticking both boxes already, and it's
good.
looking good. So I'm excited with it. Really.
Good. Okay, I've got one final question, and we've ended up coming on quite late. So obviously that doesn't really matter to when people are watching the video. So this will be up like tomorrow. So the final question is, if the Celtic goalkeeper's injured, am I allowed to go and buy the backup? And 20 of the backup, list them for double, and then just put them in as 100% on Predictorfy and try and make some money.
You might get struck off if you do that. Oh, it
We'll
was a
need to
classic, that
negotiate
one.
the terms and conditions here because you know if
Yeah.
I know that was probably
You have
one.
to keep changing the terms, aren't I, in small print on things. Other
That was
people.
hilarious. The other thing that was really hilarious as well was that Pavel Trader had them and like managed to agree some sort of bulk deal to sell them to the guy who was like Turkish or whatever. And you're thinking somebody approaches your Pavel Trader and somebody approaches you and saying, "Do you know I want 20 of the backup from fucking Galatasaray or something?" It's like, do you? Aye. It's like, yeah, but I want them today, you know. And then all of a sudden the predictions come out. So
I
yeah,
think the thing as well with that is that's funny. I mean, Pavel's obviously just so inundated with offers all the time that he probably just looks at fair value and goes, "Oh yeah, you know,
whatever.
make a bit on that," and not bothered, you know. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's a funny one because obviously, if it was one of the bots, you could get away with it a lot more easily, and that's the beauty of the bots that you can really, I mean, you can screw the bots over if you're quite clever with it sometimes.
Yeah,
But
that's a belter.
yeah, getting Pavel like that's a good one, isn't it? We all
Yeah,
like to get Pavel sometimes, don't we?
yeah, absolutely, yeah. Not many times, to be honest, because half the time if I offer for something, he just puts a price up, or he did used to in the past anyway. But I mean, yeah, I mean, to take it back to a serious point, I think the integrity of the service, especially if you're paying for it or whatever, like I think that's kind of quite important as well. And there's been loads of times where I'll be putting up guys for Celtic or whatever, and I would maybe think, oh, somebody's injured or whatever. But my first priority always then was to post it first, so that it's out in the open. And if you go to the market and there's somebody sitting there and they're really cheap, well, if you get the information out in the public first and people are able to access it, if you get in first, well, you just get in quick. But if you shared it with people, then that's about the best you can do as well. So yeah, but I thought it just always stuck in my mind. That was just such a funny point.
It was a classic.
Um,
That yeah,
it's a
it
belter.
was a classic one. I think that's one of those things that you'll always remember, isn't it? One of those
Yeah,
sneaky
yeah,
trading strategies that someone's had people over on. But it
fully
was quite a
demand.
funny one.
And the other one, which is nothing to do with the tipping, is the most common message I get just now is who's going to be the next goalkeeper for Celtic? It's like, well, if I knew who was the next goalkeeper for Celtic, you would probably see at least 10 to 15 of them enter my gallery. Although I've picked up a few guys based on rumours and things, which don't always work out well because I bought a Castiles and I think he might be off to Saudi Arabia, although I've managed to actually ship him back out. So I've just kind of taken a view on that as well. But yeah, I mean, it's just people are so quick with things on the site and everything, and it's
Yeah,
just so important that everybody's getting, reasonably accurate information, or the predictions in terms of what people are assessing or are projecting. Because at the end of the day, their predictions are the projections. If you give a 70% or whatever, people should realise there's still a huge risk with that.
yeah.
So anyway, it's fun. So anyway, it's getting quite late. Thanks very much for coming on. I must admit, I'm quite excited that when we do get back to the Euro season, I'm not going to be tearing my beard out, not my hair, because I don't have any hair, but I'm not going to be tearing my hair out because, coming towards those last game weeks when Playsharper was down, I was starting to struggle with it a bit. I'm not going to lie, because I was trying to think about putting lineups in, getting the sort of optimal lineup or whatever, and then you just let them go and enter, and it's like you feel as if you're having a stab in the dark because you don't have that information about who you think's going to play, or who might be injured, or rotations, or all that sort of stuff. So I'm looking forward to the new season after inevitably England winning the Euros and all that sort of stuff, as always happens in the summer. So I say that
Yeah,
for myself.
we always get excited us lot down here, don't we? And we think it's our time, but I mean, honestly, this is the best England squad I think that we've had in our lifetime, and if we don't do it now, then to be honest, I think Southgate has just failed. Really, I think that's. I'm not a huge Southgate fan. I think outside of France, you got yeah, he's a huge
He's
baller, isn't
Scotland's only hope.
he? He is, yeah, yeah. But
Scotland's
no,
only.
he's. I think outside of France, on paper, I think England have got the strongest side in the tournament, really. So
Yeah. Well, I've actually, believe it or not, I don't have Pickford, but I think I've got most of the squad at rare and above, to be honest. So maybe I should have bought a Pickford, but yeah, he's like just leaving the Scotland England stuff aside. Like I think my favourite guy to watch is Phil Foden. So anyway, to link it back to what we're doing here, it's really good that there's going to be those predictions and everything available, because that'll be really important to get all the up to date news, etc. And just to make sure you're kind of confident, because there's going to be some big cash competitions and everything in Sorare as well. And there's lots to be won. We've got this new stuff coming with the new type of reward and everything as well, which hopefully Sorare will be what to lead into the new season and build the sort of hype for the new cards coming, which are coming out early. So I think it's going to be quite an exciting time. So looking forward to it.
yeah, absolutely.
Good stuff. Right, we'll end then. I can't end with good luck and go fuck, because we're not actually doing any predictions yet. But I'll hit end now. We'll get this uploaded to YouTube. Thanks very much for
Thanks for
coming
having me
up
on,
and
Mark, as well.
explaining
Appreciate it.
everything, and we'll hopefully catch you again at some point soon.
Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers, guys.